Ah, the 90s, a simpler time. But also, the Attitude Era. Not just in pro wrestling, but in pop culture. When the gross-out toy fad of the 1980s degenerated even further into outright defiance of authority. From Sonic the Hedgehog's impatient toe tap, to the rebellious prankster nature of the TalkBoy tape recorder, to yogurt in a goddamn tube. Every which way you turned, commercials for toys, video games, and even lunchtime snacks were exuding over-the-top, unnecessary, unearned, unequivocal, attitudinal, "F you, mom and dad" energy. Anything that would make your great auntie squirm was at the top of every kid's birthday list. And while most will remember the Toxic Crusaders or Creepy Crawlers, which had a resurgence at the time, only the most toy-obsessed 90s kids will remember the wildest collection of wheeled psychos known as Savage Mondo Blitzers. What's up, Internet? Every single muscle here, and it's time we finally talk about one of my favorite obscure toy lines of the 1990s, Savage Mondo Blitzers. As a kid, I grew up with a nice-sized collection of these guys in my toy cabinet, and after a few years, and some casual hunting, and a little trade ski here or there, I finally completed my core set. Now, that doesn't account for all the figures, but don't worry, in this video, we will indeed be talking about every single Savage Mondo Blitzer.
Big, not so big. Savage Mondo Blitzers! 48 monstrously maniacal mutants on wheels. They're lean, mean,
and obscene. Savages.
They got big horns, killer commandos, and 8 big wounds. They're bad to the bone, with a loaded diaper and a Tyrannosaurus axe. They'll make you numchuck.
We'd never let our kid have those things.
Savage Mondo Blitzers, sold in gangs of 4. Get them before they get you!
First, let's start with the basics. In 1991, Kenner released 8 carded 4-packs of Savage Mondo Blitzers, totaling 32 original skateboarding psychos, each one more grotesque, disturbing, and in-your-face than the last. We're going to take a look at each of the gangs one at a time, starting with the Skull Crunchers. This was the first pack that I had as a kid, and so it seems like a natural way to start things off, so we'll take a look at each of them one by one. First up, we've got Bad to the Bone. It's a skeleton holding a knife. How can you not love it? We've got Roachkill. He's a roach mutant with 4 guns. Sure, why not? We've got Fat Axe. He's some kind of Viking dude with a big giant axe, very much like Norman from Mighty Max.
I eat aliens for breakfast.
And lastly, Pork Chopper, which is some sort of mutant boar with some sort of laser turret gun. This was my favorite Savage Mondo Blitzer, and out of all of them, probably the figure I'm most nostalgic over. Absolutely love Pork Chopper. Here we have the Concrete Breakfast Gang. Metalhead, who's a robot with these circular saws. We've got Knight to Dismember, a knight with a big old mace. This one's called Barf Bucket. He's some kind of beast with mucus. I don't know. It's cool. And then we've got Shark Bait, which is a surfer dude riding a wave, of course, just holding a little knife. Because why not? That's kind of the theme here in Savage Mondo Blitzers. Why not? Mash things together, hand them a weapon, see what you get, and it happens a lot. You're going to see that going forward. These are the Butt Kickers. Yeah, the Butt Kickers. Starting out for the team Cleat Meat. Just a football player who looks like he can kick your butt. Secret weapon. Appears to be some kind of alien with a laser gun. Snot shot, guy with a snot gun. Remember what I said earlier about the weapon thing? That applies tenfold to Gunrunner here. We're not just handing guns to people, we're just turning one of the characters into a giant gun. Gunrunner, baby. Up next, it's the Damaged and Deadly Gang. Chop Chop, a martial arts master with a sword. Mr. Mutator Head. Looks like a Superman, but with a green head. Superman's an alien, so why not? Blood Hockey. Well, they gave up on the name, but they still delivered on a pretty cool toy. He's a hockey fighter, and there's like blades on the end of his hockey stick. There's even some blood on the end of it. And, of course, Head Alert. It's a head on a foot with arms and a mohawk and 2 guns and a scar, and I love it, and it's stupid as hell. And honestly, I don't think an argument can be made to say that this isn't the greatest Savage Mondo Blitzers 4-pack there is. These guys are fantastic. It's the chunk blowers. We've got Direct Hit, who's our 80s rock star riding on a missile. We've got Tyrannosaurus Axe. I mean, come on. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex with an axe. Of course, we love that. Then we've got Loaded Diaper. Holy crap, is this a great figure. This is one of the top figures in my opinion. Obviously, looks a lot like Baby Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's even got a cigar in his mouth, but he's also got a rattle and a giant baby bottle gun. How do you not love this? And lastly, what are we talking about here? It's the piece de resistance. It's Big Hans. He's a dude with, instead of arms, just two giant hands. This is unreal. What are we talking about here? The Scars and Spikes Gang. Another great set. This one's got Aping Wound, a giant gorilla chained up, very reminiscent of King Kong. We've got Lugnut. He's a little robot made out of assorted parts. Not the most interesting figure, but there are lots of good ones, including Kiss My Bat, which is just a big jack dude with a skull mask swinging a flaming bat. Why not? And lastly, it's Eye-Puss, one of the best Savage Mondo Blitzers figures, very reminiscent of Oculus Orbis from Mad Balls. Although really, he's just an eyeball. I don't want to give Mad Balls too much credit. It's a cool eyeball figure, and we all love cool eyeball figures. The Dudes of Disaster. You know, if you ask me, this might be the weakest of the Savage Mondo Blitzer sets. That is, of course, except for Twin Geeks, because a two-headed guy with two swords and two necklaces, he's just got the vibes, man. But I don't know, Blade Invader just seems like a pretty generic robot guy, but with a sword and a shield with a face on it. I don't know, it doesn't stand out to me. Neither does Killer Commando, who is a commando. And especially, probably my least favorite Savage Mondo Blitzer, Bad Fart, who, while he has a great name, doesn't deliver on the fart gimmick at all, and is just an ugly looking alien thing, and I don't like it, and neither should you. Or if you do, I don't want, whatever. And the last 4-pack, or the last standard 4-pack we're going to talk about, is the Sewer Surfers. Now, this is the only of the 4-packs that I actually had to cobble together. All the other sets I had previously purchased on card and opened up, but the Sewer Surfers, I'd found a few of them loose, and I wanted to complete the collection that way. I also kind of lost the desire to open up carded versions of things from the past. It kind of hurts my heart a little bit to do that, so I don't do it anymore. Anyway, the Sewer Surfers. We've got Butterfly Gone Bad, who appears to be, I wouldn't say a butterfly, but a demon holding a missile. We've got Robo-Zooka, a robot with a giant robo-bazooka. We've got Bad Audience, another rock and roller. This guy's just going to smash his guitar over your head. And lastly, this was the last figure I needed, and I picked it up recently in a trade. This is Numchuck. He's a ninja. There's not much to it. He's not the most exciting final figure that I needed, but he still completed the collection for me. Well, sort of. We'll elaborate on that a little bit later. So that's the core set, the original 32, but it's just not that simple. Part of the way through the original production run, the figures began appearing on a new card back, one that featured 2 more 4-pack gangs, and also the first and only Deluxe 8-pack. It was also around this time that parents and teachers began to take notice of these degenerate little skater dudes. Notably, several teachers in the town of Loveland, Ohio. Things escalated just a short while later when a parenting group calling themselves Citizens Against Mind Polluters urged a boycott against Kenner if they didn't take Savage Mondo Blitzers off the market. At one point during the dispute, the pressure had gotten so high that executives at Kenner actually considered changing the names of some of the characters. By October of that year, the story had gotten so much press that even Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonist Jim Borgman got in on the conversation.
I still don't see what's so offensive about these characters. Do you, Booger Flicker?
The toys, however, were already flying off toy shelves, and kids were eating them up. That said, possibly due to the threat of boycott, the 2 new 4-packs, Brains Not Included and the Puke Shooters Gang, were never released here in the United States. More on that later. The 8-pack, however, did get a limited release, and here they are. Although the card backs referred to them as the Attack Pack, their official packaging revealed their proper name, the Crazy Eights. We're going to start things off with General Mayhem, an army general running with a flamethrower. General Mayhem Definitely a cool figure. We've also got Shish Kebab. He's a short order diner cook with a skewer and a giant spatula. He's got a sausage, he's got a fly, he's covered in dirt. He's got a tattoo on his arm, one of those guys. Hey, I'm Shish Kebab, don't f with me. We've got Destruction Worker. He's a construction worker holding a giant piece of metal and swinging it like a baseball bat. We've got Jack Hammer, who I can only assume is Destruction Worker's co-worker. He's a man made out of concrete with a jackhammer. Gotta love that. Chowhound, a little dog with a giant mouth and huge jaws ready to bite your leg off. We've got Lawn Disorder, an angry lawnmower. Fist Fight. This is just a dude with a giant fist and a giant pair of brass knuckles. And lastly, it's Armed and Dangerous. It's a guy throwing a stick for his dog, but the dog ripped off his arm instead. They should have called him Disarmed and Dangerous, but that's okay because the figure is great. Now, of course, those figures came with the lightning launcher, which you could load up the figures into, pull them back, press this button, and shoot them off. The figures are actually pretty resilient. They can smash into each other, and they'll be fine, probably. But at this point, I don't want to take too many risks. Now, if you add those 8 figures to the original 8 gangs, then we've got a total of 40 Savage Mondo Blitzers released here in the United States. But if you're wondering what happened to the puke shooters and brains not included, wonder no more, because those figures do exist as international exclusives. That's right, over in Italy, Greece, and even Argentina, Savage Mondo Blitzers were released in sealed bags under the names Skateboard Mania and Skatenati.
Skateboard Mania. Είναι παιχνίδι. Η καινούργια παγκόσμια μανία. Τυρανόσαυρος εναντίον καταδαφιστή.
These sets not only included the 40 US releases, but also the figures from the Forgotten 4-packs. So let's take a look at them. So Brains Not Included has got Wedgie-san, a sumo wrestler, Flied Out, a fly with a fly swatter, Gutter Brawl, a bowler with a, looks like he's got an explosive bomb in his hands, and Salad Bartender. I don't know what the name means. I guess he delivers vegetables to your table, but he's got an axe, so he can still kill you. Then, of course, there's the Puke Shooters gang, made up of Hex Bolt, who appears to be Death with a lightning bolt in his hands, Gas Attack, a gas station employee wielding a gas can and some fire, Bad Apple, a giant evil worm climbing out of an old apple, and lastly, Leg Up, a 1980s street punk who broke his leg off just to fight you. Of course, there's a good reason I don't own any of these guys. Due to their scarcity, prices on these 8 Blitzers are astronomical. For a 1.5-inch figure, that's a tall order. Now, one other thing that happened with the international releases, something frankly pretty common in the toy community, is that several of the Blitzers got color variants. Now, some variants were more obvious than others. Notably, there's a red jackhammer, a yellow cleat meat, a purple mohawked head alert, and a green pork chopper. But on the other end of the spectrum, figures like Twin Geeks and Loaded Diaper received much more subtle palette changes. So those are all the figures that were actually released in some capacity. But the 1992 Toy Fair catalog gives us Savage Mondo Blitzers fanatics a glimpse into what could have been. 3 unreleased assortments were previewed in the catalog: the Rampaging Road Raiders, the Maniacs of Death, and the Gas Passers. These figures were to be marketed as the Warped Speeders, and each pack was supposed to come with 2 ripsticks so they could ripcord their way to warp speeds. Also appearing in the 92 Toy Fair catalog was this, the Savage Mondo Blitzers collector case. Another beautiful piece of toy history that unfortunately is just lost to time. So that's the story of Savage Mondo Blitzers, the plastic embodiment of 90s attitude. Too weird for the mainstream, too hardcore for the classroom, too rude for parents, but too damn cool to stay forgotten. But the Blitzers are just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to be part of more toy talk from the 80s, 90s, and beyond, make sure to hit like and subscribe because we're talking every single obscurity out there, including every single battle beast and every single muscle.